Hello. I love Toby Fox, creator of Undertale and Deltarune, along with his amazing team of creative and funny people. All of these people are extremely talented writers, musicians, pixel artists, but I'm not here to just yell about how great Toby Fox is. You probably already know. I'm here to talk about Toby Fox's writing, because holy shit does he do it right. He's able to craft characters that are consistent and slick and stick by a set of rules, but without neglecting them, or without not letting them change. He gives them many opportunities to differ themselves or do something different than they did in the previous scene. I'm not going to talk about every single character, but I want to talk about a few. I'm going to talk about some Chapter 1 stuff, so don't worry about Chapter 2 spoilers. I wanted to talk Chapter 2, but it turned out to be a little bit too long, so we're just going to stick with Chapter 1. Because today, I want to ask you a question that you need to answer by the end of this. What makes a character consistent? Very simple question, so just put that in the back of your head and let's go. You awake in your home as Chris. Despite everything, it's you. So you go through a familiar routine, get up, have some food, maybe head off to school. Anyway, skip some stuff and you arrive at school. Yay! Heading into class, your teacher Alphys welcomes you. It's a group project, so you gotta find a partner. Already, this is easily relatable. New school, new people, gotta find someone to work with. There's the really nice girl, the cheeky smartass, the joke guy, Temmie. It's a nice little well-rounded class. Looks like it's gonna be a totally normal day.
Hi, Susie.
Am I late?
Susie's entrance is executed brilliantly. Although you've probably seen this mean girl stereotype before, even in this short scene, Susie leaves an impact. Alphys tells you to go check on her, and you head out into the hallway. You spot Susie literally eating chalk, which although is a stupid funny detail, is a great little show of character. Susie, knowing this and being very upset by the fact that she probably might be expelled if Chris tells anybody, begins to threaten Chris. She forces you into the storage room to get more chalk. It comes off less like she actually wants to eat your face and more like a defense tactic. Been burned before, never again type thing. She's aggressive but not unfair. She's mean but not evil. It's an important distinction to make. Even if she says, "I'm going to eat your face," she also says, "You have a good mother, Chris. I'd hate to see her bury her child." It's a very, very dark joke, but I definitely think it's a joke and it's not actually serious. Susie does not seem like the type to actually find enjoyment out of something so horrifying. It just seems like she has a bit of a dark sense of humor. I've heard a lot darker from teenagers in my day, so it checks out. Anyway, enough of this fucking school. It's time to go somewhere fun. I wanted to cover this opening, though, because it establishes a sense of groundedness and reality that Undertale never had. These feel like real people. This town feels like it exists. The people around the town feel like they have routines and places to be. Some feel familiar, but that's not really the point. It feels like a real town. The supply closet, anyway. Going to the door, you open it, and we actually see the first bit of emotion other than anger out of Susie. Rightly so, it's fear. The first emotion we see out of the scary mean girl is fear. Fear is the heart of Susie's character. Fear of being disliked, fear of being chastised for who they are. We see this as you progress into the dark world as well. The world has hated her by default, so she complied. It's something that happens. It's happened to me. Throughout Chapter 1, Susie goes through a whole lord of changes, but none of them would happen if we didn't have this setup at the school, as well as one other character. Getting to the dark world, you meet Prince Ralsei. He's adorable, we love him, blah blah blah, who really cares? He tells you a nice little tale of light and dark, a tale of everything. Stop! Lancer's on screen!
Oh, our heroes are already running away. My dad's gonna make me son of the month.
Lancer is an important part of the overall Susie arc. He's a fun, naive villain Susie wants to be, but she's too buried in her own self-hatred that she can't get there. So of course, Lancer does his thing. Lancer is kinda like my favorite character Toby has made ever, except for one other that I'm not gonna talk about in this video, but I will talk about eventually. And before you ask, yes, I'm doing all the voices. Every single one. Susie me. Get it? Get it? Get it? I made a joke? You get? Throughout Chapter 1, we also see a lot of Susie in different situations. Not wanting to be a part of the party, hanging out with Lancer, we even see her on her own. Each of these parts is crucial to her character journey here. Starting with her in the group. She actually runs away for most of this time. You gotta protect enemies from her violent attacks, either getting there too late or warning them of her presence. Also, I'm gonna be skipping a lot of jokes and bits for the purpose of time, so please just go play these amazing games. For the time being, they are completely free, no real excuse not to dig in. Later, after that encounter, Susie decides to join Lancer's team just for the fun of it. She seems engaged with the idea of being the funny villain that he is. She also just likes how much fun he is. He doesn't judge her for being scary, he enjoys it actually, respects her ability to frighten others. Lancer looks up to Susie in this way here, because by comparison to his dad, she's a hero. Speaking of, as you progress, Susie begins to care more and more about Lancer like a little brother. It's actually really cute. As someone with a big sister, Toby nailed it. Anyway, I'm gonna skip a lot of the castle this time, so sorry. Jump cut to the dungeon. Here you get kidnapped by Lancer after reaching the castle. He wants to imprison you so that you don't fight his dad to death. Lancer seems very upset that he has to do this, rightly so, but Susie takes this as she always has. Anger. There's this great moment where you just have to watch Susie battle Lancer in the dungeon hallway. It's got the battle HUD and everything. You just can't do anything. Doing nothing but making sure she doesn't get hit. Lancer will do that too eventually. It's a powerful meta moment, hoping behind your screen that you imparted words of wisdom onto Susie. After a while of fighting, she lands the final blow. Or does she? I love this moment. The subtle line of, "I don't want to kill you, dude," is similar to things I've heard from friends in the past, from myself. Maybe not literally, but emotionally. Susie remains consistent here by expressing that anger. She's absorbed into the anger that feels so familiar at this point, but in reality, she doesn't want to kill Lancer. He's the first friend to like her as a friend. That means something to her. So she doesn't kill him. Covering up her feelings with jokes and sarcasm is common, actually. It's beautifully poetic. I love this scene. But anyway, making it out of this great encounter with the king that I don't want to go into because nothing really happens other than Susie gaining eyes. Finally, she can see! He'll basically remain this way for the rest of the game, I presume. The power of goofy sidekicks and mean girls shines within you. Susie's arc is great. She goes from a mean girl to a mean girl with more obvious jokes. That sounds reductive, but I mean it in the best way. Nobody changes so drastically so fast. She's still a little mean sometimes, but honestly, I laugh. I enjoy her company. Just because someone's a little rough around the edges doesn't mean they can't be a better person. So to all the Susies out there watching this, don't be afraid to reach out. The world can suck sometimes, but there's good people out there. People that actually want to be your friend. Susie is a character written with a lot of nuance. Although her arc has been done many a time before, I feel like Toby approaches it with a certain grip on reality that is extremely impressive for a fictional video game story made by the same guy who made Undertale. Although the game has knights and pawns and monsters, none of them are presented as such. They have nuances, flaws, characters, histories we don't know. Take for instance this scene in late chapter 2. Don't worry, no major spoilers. I mostly just want to talk about wholesome stuff here. After your adventure in chapter 2 with the funny robot, you head home, and Toriel, your mother, invites her to stay for pie. How sweet she is. This scene gives us a sweet understanding of Susie's character. Being invited inside is a huge shock to her. She's obviously startled when Toriel asks her for pie, some of that social anxiety showing. From Susie? No way. From the moment she enters, she's staring at the ceiling, refusing to break eye contact with the ceiling unless she's making fun of Chris. But she obviously still has respect for Toriel, and also doesn't want to get expelled. Most definitely Susie has a not-so-great home life, so for Toriel to be kind to her despite her behavior, well, that's just Toriel. But Susie clearly respects this, and doesn't want it to stop. Toriel teaches Susie how to make pie and cookies. It's a triumphant moment for her character, finally belonging somewhere. She even sleeps over. You watch this epic monster movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart plays the monster. It's a really nice moment. Of course, this is made into a great scene of horror and tension because of hyperlink blocked, but the scene still acts as a really nice moment for Susie. I swear, I will talk about this scene another time. It's brilliant. But I really just wanted to highlight that Toby's writing, he always respects his characters like they're real people, especially in Deltarune. While in Undertale it's more meta and strange, here it's more genuine and raw. Because you know what? The story never uses comedy as an excuse for a character to do something they wouldn't. This is actually a great way of checking if something is good writing. You may have seen movies where a character does something dumb purely for the sake of plot, or a joke, or some other thing that wasn't worth doing, and it will never be worth doing. Part of why the characters are so strong in these games is because Toby respects his creations. The characters are written like the real people they're intended to be. Even when Birdley makes a giant statue of him and Queen because of how much he's excited about their partnership, that makes sense. When Noelle hides from Queen because Queen said she would make her face into a robot, that makes sense. When Susie joins Lancer because she wants to be a bad guy, that makes sense. When Noelle is unable to do anything when she's manipulated by a childhood friend to murder another childhood friend, it makes sense. Toby's writing is so hypnotically real. So now back to that question I asked at the beginning. How do you write consistent characters? Well, you write characters that react to the world around them based on a set of rules for each character. Never break those rules, even for a joke. And finally, respect your creations as if they were real people. Their emotions, their mistakes. If the writer respects them, anyone who sees that will respect them too.